Rational equations are equations involving fractions. There are two methods that we can use. The first one is the cross product. The second one is finding the lowest common denominator. To be able to use the cross product method, you can have just one fraction on the left hand side and one fraction on the right hand side. Condition: only one fraction on both sides. Okay, let's go to example 5. Let's solve it with the first method. So I have x over 2 is equal to 3 plus x over 5. And I have just one fraction on the left hand side and I have one fraction on the right hand side. So with the cross product method, I take the numerator of the left hand side and the denominator of the right hand side and I multiply them with each other. So x times 5. And I equate that to with the denominator of the left hand side and the numerator of the right hand side. That becomes 2 times 3 plus x. On the left hand side I have 5x, and on the right hand side, if I expand that, 2 times 3 is a 6, 2 times x is a 2x. And then I just solve this linear equation. The 2x, I have to move it to the left hand side because I want to group all the terms with x on one side and the constant terms on the other side. Since I have just one constant term which is already on the right hand side, I only move the 2x to the left hand side. It's plus 2x on the right hand side, so on the left hand side it becomes minus 2x. 5x minus 2x is 3x, and that should be equal to 6. And then I want to get rid of the 3, so it's times 3 here. When I move it to the right hand side, it becomes divide. So times 3 here is dividing 3 on the right hand side, so 6 divided by 3, and this gives me a 2 as an answer. Okay. Let's apply the second method, lowest common denominator. So I have x over 2 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I have 3 plus x over 5. So I have to go to the lowest common denominator. I have a 2 here and a 5 here. There's one way to go to the lowest common denominator by multiplying the left hand side by 5 over 5 and the right hand side by 2 over 2, because then I have in the denominator 2 times 5, which is 10. So the left hand side becomes 5x over 10, and the right hand side becomes 2 times 3 plus x over 10. Then we just focus on the numerators. We equate them to each other. So we get 5x is equal to 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 2 times x, which is 2x. And then we just solve it like we did here, till we get an expression for x, and x should be equal to 2. Don't forget to check your answer. 2 over 2 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have 3 plus 2 over 5. So we have 2 over 2, which is 1, and on the right hand side 3 plus 2, which is 5 over 5 is a 1. So the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Okay. Another example. We have to solve this for x as well. Let's do it with both methods again. 4 over x is equal to 3 over 4. Let's apply the cross product method. So 4 times 4 should be equal to x times 3. So 4 times 4 is a 16, and x times 3 is a 3x. I want to get rid of the 3. It's times 3 here. When I move it to the left-hand side, I have to divide by 3. So 16 over 3 should be equal to x, and that's the answer. Okay, I can plug that in to check my answer. 4 over 16 over 3 should be equal to 3 over 4. So I have a 16 over 3. Since the 3 here is in the denominator of the denominator, I move it to the numerator. I get 4 times 3 over 16 should be equal to 3 over 4. Multiply and simplify my left-hand side. I can get rid of the 4 in the numerator, and I divide the denominator by 4, which is by 4, which is 3. Oh, mistake. Like here I have 16. I don't know why I wrote 12. This should be 16 as well. So I get rid of the 4 in the numerator, and I divide the denominator by 4, and that gives me a 4. So I get a 3 over 4 on the left-hand side as well. Okay, let's do the second method. So I have 4 over x on the left-hand side, and I have a 3 over 4 on the right-hand side. Let's go to the lowest common denominator. I have an x here, I have a 4 there, so I multiply this by 4, divide that by 4, and multiply this by x and divide that by x. So I get on the left-hand side 4 times 4, which is 16 over 4x, and on the right-hand side 3x over 4x. So the 16 should be equal to the 3x. So the x is equal to, when I move the 3 to the right hand side, 16 over 3 to the left hand side. Okay. Example 7. This one gets a bit more complicated. So let's solve it with the first method again. 2x plus 1 over 3 minus x is equal to 3 over 4. So the numerator of the left hand side, which is 2x plus 1, times the denominator of the right hand side, which is 4, should be equal to the denominator of the left hand side, 3 minus x, times the numerator of the right hand side, which is 3. Okay, so again the same, this here and this here. Okay, 2x plus 1 times 4. 2x times 4 is 8x. 1 times 4 is a 4. And on the right hand side, 3 times 3 is a 9. Minus x times 3 is a minus 3x. So this is just a linear equation. I have to group all the terms with x on one side and the constant terms on the other side. So 8x, and I move, so I have to move the minus 3x to the left hand side and the 4 to the right hand side. Minus 3x on the left hand side becomes plus 3x, and the 4 on the right hand side becomes minus 4. So we get 8x plus 3x, which is 11x, and here 9 minus 5, which is a 9 minus 4, which is a 5. So the x is equal to, when we move the 11 to the right hand side, we have to divide by 11, 5 over 11. Okay. The second method, so we have 2x plus 1 over 3 minus x should be equal to 3 over 4. So what we have to do, we have to go to the lowest common denominator. On the left hand side we have 3 minus x, on the right hand side we have 4. So the left hand side we divide by 4 over 4, and the right hand side by 3 minus x over 3 minus x. So we don't change anything on the equation. So the left hand side becomes 4 times 2x plus 1 over 4 times 3 minus x, and the right hand side becomes 3 times 3 minus x over 4 times 3 minus x. So what we see is the denominators are the same, so we equate the numerators to each other. So 4 times 2x is an 8x, plus 4 times 1, which is a 4, and on the right hand side 3 times 3, which is a 9, and 3 times minus x, it's minus 3x. And we have a linear equation, so we move all the x's to one side, the terms with x to to one side and all the other terms to the other side. So we do basically the same as we did here. We don't have to repeat that again. So after simplifying, we get again that x is equal to 5 over 11. Okay. Let's go to example 8. In example 8, we can't use the cross product rule here. Why? Because to be able to use the cross product rule, you need like a fraction on the left hand side and a fraction on the left hand side and one fraction on the right hand side, and then you multiply the numerator of the left hand side with the denominator of the right hand side, and the denominator of the left hand side with the numerator of the right hand side. So then you get a times d, which is equal to b times c. But it's not in this form here, so we can't use that. So let's use the second method with the lowest common denominator. So I have x over 3 minus 1 minus 2x over 6, and that is equal to negative 4. The lowest common denominator that we can get is a 6, because I have a 6 here, I have a 3 here, and here I have basically nothing, so it's a 1. So here I multiply that by 2 and divide that by 2, so I get the same denominator. Here I don't have to change anything. And then on the right hand side, I would like to get the denominator 6 as well. So I multiply that by 6 and divide that by 6. So this becomes 2x over 6 minus 1 minus 2x over 6. And that should be equal to minus 4 times 6, which is minus 24 over 6. On the left hand side, let's put that on the same denominator, 6. So I have 2x minus between brackets 1 minus 2x. That should be equal to minus 24 over 6. So the numerators on both sides, they should be equal to each other. So we get 2x minus 1 minus 2x. That should be equal to negative 24. And then I just have an equation that I have to solve. First, we have to expand and simplify the left-hand side. So we get like 2x minus 1 plus 2x is equal to negative 24. 2x plus 2x is a 4x. And I would like to move the minus 1 to the right-hand side. Becomes a plus 1 there. So 4 is equal to negative 4x is equal to negative 23. So x is equal to negative 23 over 4.